identity, but animals seem to know exactly who he is.
Keep all car windows closed. Baboons are dangerous.
For Lee Remick, the terror she projected during the baboon attack scene wasn't just acting.
She didn't say she couldn't drive a shift car, but she got in the car and drove it and stalled it just as the animals were let loose.
They attack, and Lee Remick didn't know how to drive. She panicked.
She was terrified. When you look at her through that window, she was terrified. And we had to get the animals away from the car.
Anything wrong?
I just can't stand that noise.
Oh, it's not all that bad.
Yes, Mom? Would you take him out of here, please?
He's only playing.
Would you just get him out of here, please?
A series of unusual events soon begin to rip the Thorne family apart and eventually drives Mrs. Thorne to the brink of insanity. Of course, the Thornes don't suspect their boy is the Antichrist. For director Richard Donner, this is what made the film all the more interesting. Every incident could be explained in both real and supernatural terms.
You did it on the basis of, this is the worst day of my life, nobody's ever going to believe what happened today. Well, that's the way we treated the film, that in their lives, these massive coincidences happen.
In the scene in which Father Brennan tries to warn Robert Thorne of Damien's evil origins, the priest's fears are dismissed as the ravings of the madman.
We haven't much time. You must listen to what I have to say.
All right, what is it?
You must accept Christ as your Savior. You must accept him now.
Forgive me, Father. Didn't I understand that you have a matter of some urgent personal business?
You must take communion, drink the blood of Christ, and eat his flesh. For only if he is within you can you defeat the son of the devil.
I see.
He's killed once, he'll kill again.
But the devil doesn't take the priest so lightly, and the ultimate price for betrayal is paid in a most gruesome way. The priest's death is one of the most shocking scenes in the film, and because it was done in the days before computer effects, the shot was achieved using simple yet effective techniques.
And all it was a double rod in the back. So on cue, one rod shoots up and one rod shoots down, so it looks like it came through him.
Such things do happen. As a matter of fact, the impaling came from a story in New York where I was living at the time. Somebody had been impaled, actually, by a cross that fell from the top of a church.
There are 47, I counted them. I think he was trying to keep something out, don't you?
Played by David Warner, a photographer named Jennings soon presents Thorne with proof positive that supernatural forces are at work.
Interesting, don't you think? This, I took on the day that you were at the rugby match.
Same thing.
Only it's more pronounced this time and it's actually making contact with the body. The rest, of course, history.
This isn't the horror genre. I never saw it as a horror movie myself. I saw it as more of a kind of strange, supernatural thriller, suspense drama rather than a horror film.
Here we are.
What is it?
When the Jews return to Zion.
That's it. The poem, When the Jews Return to Zion. And there was something about a comet.
Yes, that's here too. A shower of stars and the rise of the Roman Empire. Well, these are supposed to be the events that signal the birth of the Antichrist, the devil's child.
The whole script was so fantastical that one didn't know whether it would work.
In Revelations it says, "He shall rise from the eternal sea."
Well, that's the poem again. From the eternal sea, he rises, creating armies on either shore. That was the beginning of it.
And theologians have already interpreted the eternal sea as meaning the world of politics. The sea that constantly rages with turmoil and revolution. So the devil's child will rise from the world of politics.
Ironically, this poem, which foretells the arrival of an Antichrist, is not actually in the Bible.
Most of it is simply a poetic creation, a poem that was made up based on generic religious imagery from the Old and New Testaments, but it is certainly not anything that is taken directly as a quotation out of the book of Revelation.
I made up the rhyme, but I did not make up the prediction of these events. I went in every possible way I could with the biblical symbolism from the book of Revelations.
In an effort to discover the truth, Thorne investigates his child's past.
Sister, this is most important to me. I adopted a child here. I'm searching for some records of
There
it.
were no adoptions here.
But each revelation only deepens the mystery and wraps it in a shroud of death and destruction.
Father Spoleto, my name is Thorne. There was a child. I want to know where that child came from. What happened? Answer!
Cerveteri. It is an old cemetery from Etruscan times.
What Thorne finally learns is more horrifying than he or anyone could imagine.
The other one.
Now, let's get out of here.
If it's an animal too, then maybe my child is alive somewhere.